Hello everyone and welcome back. For those of you that don't know me yet, my name is Andrea and I fix your English. Today we're going to look at the 3 different ways that we form questions in English. First of all, we're going to look at the simplest, which is yes or no questions. These are also called closed questions. When you ask a question and really the response is a yes or a no. Nothing more complicated than that. Let's start by looking at the normal structure of a sentence. In a normal sentence, we normally follow the pattern of subject, then verb, and then object. She is going to the shops. She is the subject. Is going is the verb, and the shops is the object. When we want to ask a question, we reverse or change the order of this pattern. In yes/no questions, we need to put the auxiliary verb, which is, at the beginning of the sentence. This would be, is she going to the shops? Now let's look at how to form questions using the auxiliary verbs do or have or will, for example. This sentence, they have finished their homework. It's subject, they, and then the verbs, which are have finished, and then the object, homework. As before, when we ask a question, we need to invert them. So the auxiliary verb have comes to the front. So it's have they finished their homework? This rule applies to all auxiliary verbs. He will call you later. Will he call you later? You have seen this film. Have you seen this film? So an auxiliary verb is also called a helping verb. This auxiliary verb helps the main verb to show tense or mood. Common auxiliary verbs in English come from the verb to be, or do, or have. And these verbs are always there, even though we don't see them in the sentence. For example, in the sentence, she lives in London, there is the hidden auxiliary verb does. So you really should think of it as she does live in London. That hidden does is why we don't just say she lives in London. Instead, we need to take out that hidden does and put it to the front of the verb, which now turns into does she live in London? This happens in sentences where there is no auxiliary verb that we can see. We use do, and then when we form the question, the auxiliary verb do comes at the beginning. That verb do helps us with the correct structure of the sentence or the question. So then we have auxiliary verb, subject, verb. She is going to the shops turns into is she going to the shops? You studied last night. Did you study last night? You like coffee. Do you like coffee? Now let's look at the interrogative words. These are the words that normally begin with WH, like what, where, who, but also how. Remember that each of these words ask for a specific type of information. First one, what. What is used when you're asking about a thing, an action, or an idea? It's one of the most common question words. We have, what are you doing? What is your name? Where is used for place or location. It helps us to find out where something is happening. Where do you live? Where is the nearest train station? Who is used to ask about a person? It can be used as the subject, for example, the person doing the action, or as the object, the person receiving the action. Who is coming to the party? Who did you see yesterday? When is used to ask about time. It can refer to a specific day or time or a general time frame. When is the meeting? When are you going on holiday? Why is used to ask for a reason or an explanation. Why are you late? Why did you leave early? How asks about the manner or the way something happens. It can also combine with other words to be more specific. For example, how many? How often? How did you do that? How often do you exercise? So just like the yes/no questions, these interrogative words follow the same pattern. It's the interrogative word, then the auxiliary verb, then the subject, then the verb. Here are a few examples. What are you doing? Where is she going? Notice how this auxiliary verb comes before the subject. Even though this interrogative word is there now, we still need to put the auxiliary verb before the subject. Now we have indirect questions. Indirect questions are a little strange and a little different because we keep the sentence structure the same as a normal sentence, but we put a polite phrase in front of it like, could you tell me? Do you know? We have the polite phrase. Then we have the question word. Then as a normal sentence, we have the subject and then the verb. For example, could you tell me? Polite phrase. When? Question word. The train arrives. Subject verb. Do you know where the station is? Can you tell me at what time the meeting starts? Could you tell me who will lead the meeting? Like and subscribe if you found my video helpful, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!